Alrighty, well, welcome to this week's Talk or Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. There's a lot that's happened this week. Firstly, for a lot of new Model 3 owners, what might be a bit of good news if you haven't yet committed to paying the $10,100 for the FSD package, full self-driving, is that Elon Musk has, well, according to him, May is definitely the month for when that subscription offering will come out. So rather than paying up the whole $10,000 upfront, Tesla intends to basically offer it as a subscription service, which I think is a good thing. No one knows how much it's going to be. Obviously, you could almost get $10,000 divided by 4 years and 52 weeks and work it out that way. But clearly, it's going to be, a juicy couple of $100, if not a little bit more. But it might be interesting for some people to dip in and see how it goes if they find a use for it, and possibly dip out or just stay with it, or maybe even just decide it's a better deal to pay up the rest of the outstanding monies. So that's kind of interesting. The next bit is a visual bit of news, which was that I think it was only a few days ago that the Cybertruck turned up to the Texas Gigafactory, which is pretty cool. And it was driven no less than by Elon Musk himself. So there's obviously a bit of video around of the Cybertruck basically doing laps around the Gigafactory site. And that's a pretty damn cool sight to see. This is actually the original same prototype that was actually unveiled, well, a year and a bit ago. So go Cybertruck. Moving right along. This is not quite Tesla related, but certainly is Elon Musk related. SpaceX's Starship has been selected by NASA to return humans to the moon. So it's a bit of a surprise selection, because there were United Launch Alliance and a few other, I think Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin were bidding for that endeavor. But it looks like SpaceX has got the nod from NASA, which is a pretty good thing.
That is absolutely phenomenal news, Harold. Like, I don't know if the world has really appreciated yet just how significant that is. Like, it should be on every news channel, but
yeah, and sadly most channels missed it, except for a news item that we'll do at the very end, sadly. But yeah, and what's cool is, I guess you could say, while all the other proponents sort of had proposals on paper, SpaceX were already starting to develop prototypes, which obviously have all famously blown up at various stages of their test process. But the point is that, SpaceX just like omelets, and they do intend on breaking eggs along the way.
Just like every single NASA rocket in the early 60s blew up into a million pieces.
Yes, yeah, and in fact, some of them, some of the early series, quite famously, they actually knew there were production defects, but it was easier just to give it a go. And if it blew up, they just didn't care. So they had a whole series. I don't think it was Atlas, but one of the rocket series. There were failure after failure after failure, and they figured, well, we might as well just keep testing them until we get it right.
I think that's Vanguard.
Vanguard, yes. And, there's fantastic footage where, it must really hurt the launch pad, probably destroys it, but they just absolutely get destroyed time in, time out. It's just...
Anyway, yeah, sorry, I didn't want to ruin your flow. I just thought that was worth... Yeah.
No. Look, I'm all for interruptions, because it pads it out, which is good. In fact, all of these subjects are totally intended for discussion. In fact, especially the one that the federal government has announced very lately. So we can get deep into that. Now, moving on to Tesla stuff. Tesla has dropped the price of Model 3. in Australia. So from memory, I know that the SR Plus landed in poverty pearl white standard configuration was 73,000. I think it was 73,800. And now delivered, it's $69,551, which is an awesome price reduction. I think the long range was about 92,000 and it is now 86,120. And the performance, which I think was about 108,000, is now 102,734. So, you know, it just goes to show that Tesla famously does export deflation, and it is intent on lowering its prices wherever it can. You know, there's talk that some of that price reduction is due to the Shanghai Gigafactory effect, and also the relative strengthening of our dollar, or perhaps you could say the returning of it back to previous levels. So that's awesome news for anyone that is contemplating. You know, they were teetering, it was just a little bit too expensive. I think there's talk now too that that price for the SR Plus is approaching the instant write-off for small businesses, or for even medium-sized businesses, sorry. So that could be quite compelling as well. So that's awesome news, you know.
Perhaps the LFP batteries as well, and if you didn't specifically mention that from Shanghai build.
Yeah, and I mentioned last week that the SR Plus, and the long range, and long range, has lost a bit of weight. So I don't know if that could be the rear casting. The other day I had to drop a car off to the service centre and took the opportunity just to have a quick look at the back of a Model 3, just so I could see. If you look in your wheel arch, you can actually see a section where you have various stamped items glued together, just where your shock absorber is, or whatever suspension part, rear part. So it'll be very interesting to see the next run of Model 3s from Shanghai, to see if they have indeed implemented a rear casting, which would be big news, because to date we haven't heard of that yet. But we do know that they have lost, the SR Plus has lost 50 kilos in weight. So that could be quite interesting. But nonetheless, it's awesome news that Tesla is further reducing the price of the Model 3 and making it just such a more compelling offering. You know, look out, Hyundai Kona and others, because Tesla is not just coming, but they're here. Now, some sort of more distantly related news, Tesla has registered an insurance business in Germany. So this is demonstrating that Tesla is intent on offering insurance, its own insurance, to other jurisdictions apart from effectively North America. So, you know, let's hope that that eventually it does something similar here. It had many years ago offered via Marsh Advantage an insurance product, but to be honest, it wasn't particularly compelling, and it certainly wasn't. It wasn't a fantastic value proposition. So hopefully, with Germany having a company now registered, hopefully Tesla will branch out closer to us. Now, in some very interesting production news, a couple of Tesla suppliers have hinted that Tesla is intending on building about 1 million Model 3s and Ys combined by the end of this year. One of the companies in question was Sysgration, who supply, actually I think they're the world's biggest supplier of Bluetooth tire pressure monitoring systems. And they have been quoted as claiming that Tesla has ordered 4 million units for Model 3 and Y this year. Now, obviously, all of Tesla's cars have 4 wheels, so that basically neatly divides into 1 million units of Model 3 and Y being produced worldwide this year. Don't forget that in all of last year, Tesla just about made 500,000. So I think Elon Musk in some prior quarterly earnings reports has said that, you know, their intention is to grow at approximately 50% or 60% compound growth every year. Well, imagine if they went from 500,000 to 1 million. That's kind of called 100%, which is just a stupendous growth rate if they can achieve it. And by the look of it, at least according to a couple of their suppliers, that is exactly what Tesla is intending on doing. Now, something else I forgot to mention earlier was that I only saw this today by accident, to be honest. Tesla has finally updated their pins. So the Osborne Park showroom is actually on Tesla's website, finally, along with contact details, which unfortunately are quite generic. But it does have opening hours for the retail outlet and for the service center. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure if the 5 p.m. closing is accurate, but maybe they've changed that since putting this pin up. But finally, people can now look at this map, see where the store is, and even schedule a test drive from the map. So, you know, well done for Tesla for finally putting the pin where it belongs. Now, in the last bit of news, which I think came out, I think it was only just today, to be honest, the Australian government has now committed over $500 million to develop green energy projects. Namely, they're putting in $264 million for carbon capture and storage projects and hubs to do the same. And on our favourite fundamental gas element, I guess you'd call it, they're putting in $275 million for 4 hydrogen production hubs, one of which is actually in the Pilbara. Now, interestingly enough, there are actually, I had a note here, there are apparently 5 different types of hydrogen production. They're namely green, black, brown, grey, and blue. So green is when you basically electrolyze water with entirely renewable energy, such as solar, wind, tide, whatever. Black is when you electrolyze water with black coal. Brown is brown coal. Grey is when you use natural gas or other gas. And blue is if you combine the fossil fuels with carbon sequestration.
So it's basically a fossil fuel strategy.
Yes. Now, interestingly enough, the hydrogen hubs, one of them in the Pilbara, Andrew Forrest has been stated as intending to construct a hydrogen-based iron steel. Well, I don't know if it's iron or probably an iron producing plant in the Pilbara. And I got a quick grab of an image that sort of shows how that can sort of be done. So you basically mine the ore, turn it into lump. I'm not quite sure why it has to be lump, but anyway, into a pellet plant. And you use the direct reduction method, which is using basically hydrogen and a little bit of natural gas. So you basically produce a carbon monoxide hydrogen mix. And that can be either done in a renewable pathway, which is electrolysis of renewable energy, or the gas, where you basically react natural gas with water. And then you can basically produce direct reduced iron, which can then go into an electric arc furnace and so on onto steel. Something that's sort of, and there are some advantages of it. You've got the different types. So traditional, as we know, uses coking coal, and you basically use the carbon in the coal to extract the oxygen off the iron oxide. And you've got your green steel, or you've got recycled scrap. And there are different, Obviously, the ideal is scrap because that's the least energy required. But if you can direct reduce the iron, that is a fairly good environmental sort of outcome. Unfortunately, I don't know if many of you are aware of the Budari iron plant that was built in the late 1900s, the late 20th century, 1900s. And it basically was a HBI, hot briquetted iron plant. So it used hydrogen and carbon monoxide in 4 trains to produce direct reduced iron, and that was in Port Hedland, and it was BP that did it. Unfortunately, in May 2004, and there was an explosion that actually killed one of the workers and severely injured 2 others. And after all the cost overruns, BHP basically decided to shut it down and dismantle it and stop doing it. So I guess with Andrew Forrest intending on, doing a similar version, possibly, there are obviously a lot of technical reasons why that's a difficult thing to do. Obviously, the other part of doing the hydrogen plants is for larger vehicles. I think Hyundai have brought out their Mirai, and they've got 20, I think, for lease in Melbourne available. I forget, I think it was $1,500 a month lease, and that included the hydrogen, because there's only one plant in Melbourne that can actually supply the hydrogen. Well, Hyundai are only supplying those vehicles on a lease basis in Melbourne. I think Andrew Forrest is also intending on using hydrogen for buses. And yet he wants to do battery electric haul packs, which is not hydrogen, but anyway. So that's the bulk of the news. I did mention there was some other news that was widely circulated, which was the Model S that was apparently, well, allegedly not driven by anyone, and killed 2 people in their 50s and 60s in Houston, or near Houston. We all know that the reporting's been quite ordinary on that matter, but something I thought that was really interesting, because people were claiming that autopilot was engaged in various other things. I think the most interesting part is if you actually look at the map of Hammock Dunes Place, it's this piece of road is not even 400 meters long. So it sort of goes about saying that it's going to be pretty hard to engage autopilot on a road that has no markings, because it's a standard street with no center lanes, nothing.
Harold, did you read the report from Teslarati today, which was the account from the fire chief who was there, who called the whole thing complete crock of crap, basically.
Yes. Yeah, it was alleged that the fireys had to work for 4 hours to put out the fire, but actually what the fire chief said was that, well, they were there, the fire was out in a couple of minutes, but because, and obviously due respect to the 2 victims and their families, because there were bodies in the car, they couldn't, like he said, they couldn't just tear the car apart to do their fiery thing. It then became a death investigation or a major investigation. So they were there just squirting on a little bit of water every now and then to keep everything cool, while I presume the coroner and others were extracting the bodies and doing the investigations they needed to do. So yeah, right. The fire chief basically debunked this notion that this car was, like a lump of magnesium going incandescent, for 4 hours. And unfortunately, that news made it to Australia as a major thing, which obviously for the families involved is a major thing. But as a car accident, and like I said, when you see the length of this piece of road, it's 400 meters of an S-shaped piece of suburban cul-de-sac. When the main headline said, driverless car, what can you say?
I've had friends from New Zealand messaging it to me, with these crock of crap journalistic embarrassments, just talking complete nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, and then anyone who's a student of physics can understand that things can happen inside vehicles when they hit objects where you don't know where anything is, so it's very premature to say that there was no driver in the car. It really is. But anyway, be it as it may, that's what happened. But like I said, the most interesting part, and it actually was, shout out to Tesserati, when they showed the link of the actual location, and you see that it's actually 400 meters long, as a cul-de-sac. Well, as much as I always try to use autopilot wherever I can. If you haven't got center markings and a really well marked road, you've got zero chance of starting it. And in fact, actually, what I'll do later on is I did find a video of someone doing something really stupid in a ordinary car, and they didn't even have autopilot. You just chat amongst yourselves.
Elon also said that that car didn't even have the FSD option.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's so far from. Yeah, it just didn't happen. It really didn't happen.
Did anybody see the tweet? A VW Arteon has crashed on a highway in Canada. We're waiting for the international news media to pick up the story.
Wasn't that 28 delays later? It's an intentional piss take, of course.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, now have we got any new faces? I think Alex, I'm not Yun, we know. Joe, we know. Alex, are you new to here, or have you been on before?
No, I'm here.
Excellent. So you have a new Model 3, I presume?
Yeah,
Congratulations. When did you get it?
I got that about 3 weeks ago.
Awesome. And how have you found your car so far?
No, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Is that Alex from Mandurah?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's Alex Amandra. Sorry, right. I've seen you, Alex. No, you're not new at all. But
I've got my
welcome
camera
back anyway.
My camera's not working anyway. I'm going to try and get it working in a couple of minutes.
Actually, it's great that you're on, Alex, because since you and Nigel are in the room, then I can impress on you the utmost importance of going to John Edwards's place and swapping your tyres so you can do that test properly that you did the other week.
That's a good
Yes.
idea.
Yes, Alex. We did talk about that last week. We're going to swap the tyres. Mine go onto yours go onto mine, and then I go home.
Yes.
You wish, Nigel, you wish.
Yes, there was that bit of fine print that Nigel, yes. And if you think that's a good deal, Alex, then that's awesome.
No way, I'm keeping my new tyres.
But all jokes aside, that'd be the best way. If you could swap tyres temporarily, that would then prove whether the tyres were the main factor. The fact that your tyres, Alex, are brand new, and like I joked last week, they were probably warm as they were put onto your car, because they probably literally came down the road in a truck straight out of the mold to Tesla.
Yeah.
So they'll be very sticky.
Yeah, it's something we could look at trying.
I think we might run that test actually.
Yeah, we can do that.
Definitely.
We'll just have to sort it out.
Yeah. Between ourselves, we'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
we
is
can do
the
that.
unnamed iPad Doug, who was trying to get on?
Oh, yes.
he's muted still at the moment, but he did email me some questions, so I can ask them on his behalf if he's here, and we can talk around.
Ken, just before you do that, just for a second, I will get to this autopilot thing very quickly. I just found it just to finish that bit off, and it's this little bit of footage.
Oh yeah.
So this is someone who thought that doing something like this was a good idea until that happened.
Oh,
So in case you missed it, one more time.
no one's driving the car.
You got to wonder what drugs they're on.
Yeah.
That's just stupidity.
It
Yeah.
sure is.
No.
So anyway, that was just a little closure of what some idiots do in cars. So Ken, you got some questions from.
So I got some questions on behalf of Doug McNabb, who's new, and I'm not going to answer them. I figure we can chuck them out, and you guys can all tell me what you think. So question number one from Doug is: can you organise scheduled charging to match the EV power plan from 11 p.m. till 4 a.m.?
Easy peasy.
Go on there, Nigel.
You go into the charging part of the bottom lineup, click on charging, and then there's it's a very faint grey, very small writing that you've got to touch to bring up scheduled charging. And then you can set the time that you want it to start charging. So my EV tariff is between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m.
Yep, that's what he's saying.
So I start mine at about 11:15 or 11:30 because I'm never below about 50%. So it only ever takes no more than about 2 hours to charge up. So I get mine starting about 11:30 when I want it to charge at home. And then you have it plugged in, turn it on and go to bed. And you get up in the morning and your car's up to whatever you've set it, 80%, 90%.
Yep. So you can't specifically set a cut-off time, but I guess what you're saying is if you look at the time that it reckons it's going to have remaining, the aim is to get it done in 5 hours, so it's finished by the time the tariff kicks out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You can't easily set a finish time. I think you can set a departure time.
Yes.
But that's not as that's got some fallibility about it. Use the start time, and then it'll finish charging, so long as you don't set it to 100%, because unless you've got an LFP battery, you can degrade it over a period of time if you don't jump in and drive it straight away. So if I am doing a long journey and I don't have an LFP battery, I've got the old NCA, then I'll set it to 90 or even 95%. And then when I wake up in the morning, I just jump on the app and put the slider up to 100%. And within about half an hour or whatever, depending on what it was at, then it just hits 100% as I'm jumping in to drive away.
Cool. But anyone who had one of the brand new SR Plus is likely to have an LFP battery. So, 100% is fine.
Absolutely.
And the best way to see that is when you look at the actual charging slider, the LFP will just have little ticks, and I think it might be 100% maybe on the right. I think it just actually ticks, and there's no writing. But if you have a NCA, which is a non-LFP battery, it'll have ticks that on the left say daily, and then to the right it says trip. So if your car says that, then just set your charger to the second last notch or less. But generally no more than the second last notch on the right-hand side. But if you don't see the words daily and trip, then you can literally leave it at 100% all day, every day. No, you don't have to charge to 100%, but you're more than free to do that whenever you want.
The only other thing, I actually use make the car ready for me to leave at 6:30 in the morning option. And it gets the aircon right and everything's ready for me to leave at 6:30 in the morning. It actually finishes charging at about 5:30 in the morning, or 6 maybe at the latest. And it just works it out. You know, you want to be 80% charged at 6:30 or half an hour before 6:30 in the morning with the aircon on and everything ready for you to go. And it just does the mathematics, works it all out and does it every night. Works for me.
Which will be lovely in winter when it's nice and toasty warm for you.
Yeah.
If the car's outside.
Yes, indeed.
Cool. Any other questions there, Ken?
Yep. Sorry, I'm looking. So his second question is a much more mundane one, perhaps. Has anyone got any good suggestions for their favourite sunglass holder for a Model 3?
Oh, God, no.
Then
The
third question, which is probably more real, is how is the Model 3 AM radio? Is the signal a bit rubbish when you get out of the city? Is it okay?
In Brisbane, I find my AM radio a bit hit and miss. It'll work fine for a while and then it'll drop out for 5 or 10 seconds and then it'll come back again. So I wouldn't say it's as strong as I would expect. I've actually faulted it. I've sent a bug report on it a couple of times. It's never been fixed. It's still the same.
Is that a general Model 3 experience, or does nobody use the radio? I mean, I never listen to the radio, so I don't know.
Well, I only listen to AM radio for the ABC news, and that's where I find the dropout occurs because I never listen to anything else except that. If I listen to radio at all, I normally don't listen to radio, but when I do, that's what I experience.
And what you can do, of course, is if the radio is iffy, or one of the local radio stations is iffy, or any other station for that matter, you can stream it on TuneIn. So you can just search, and you can even drill down to Australia and the state.
Yeah.
You can search for all the channels that are available for streaming.
It's actually far more reliable. Yeah.
As long as you have premium connectivity.
Correct.
Yes. Which in Australia
or a good mobile phone account. Yeah.
Which in Australia is $10 a month.
Yeah.
Now, and alternatively, if you don't have premium connectivity, but you still want to listen to the radio in better quality, you can just stream it via Bluetooth from your phone. Again, using, well, if it's the ABC app, and I presume there are other commercial apps, or just TuneIn. You can do the same thing.
Cool. Well, that's all the questions I got emailed in. Anyone else got anything they want to throw in?
Oh, Steve, how's your trip? I presume you've well and truly gone past Nullarbor. Fingers crossed.
Yep. Hopefully that's coming through. My pictures just disappeared. Let's bring it back. Yeah. Right now we're in Berry on the banks of the River Murray.
Cool.
Tomorrow heading off through Mildura to Balranald. I found an interesting observation with PlugShare. I was searching on NRMA websites and they came up with some fast chargers, which were not showing on PlugShare. So I had to remove all filters for it to bring back the fast charge CCS and CHAdeMO option. And now I can see the NRA fast chargers. So in Berry, there's one that is about 800 meters away, which wasn't showing. So when I got here from, what was it? Uriutpa in the Barossa Valley, I used the caravan, because I've been here for 3 days. I used the caravan port next and did a very slow trickle charge overnight, not knowing that there was an RAC fast charger at no cost just up the road.
And that's it right there. Ahern Street car park, Berry.
Correct. So I did yesterday, I did a 5-minute check just to make sure it worked, because I've never used them before. And then today I did a fill up, ready to head off tomorrow morning.
Fantastic. So you're going to Mildura and further?
To Balranald, yep. And then Balranald to Narrandera. And then Narrandera to Canberra.
Oh, Narrandera. Okay, yes. And then up the...
Down to Canberra.
Oh, sorry, down. Yes.
So east southeast from where you were pointing. That's it.
So
Yeah.
near Andrew. Yep. And again, that I presume it's an RAC. That is probably an RAC.
Yes, and right now NRC is not charging, so I'm saying thank you very much.
Fantastic.
And I think it's a bit of a sad contrast with the way the ROC is looking after their fast charge network, but we'll let that one go for the moment.
You mean RAC WA?
Correct. The way they're not looking after theirs.
Yes, I believe. Unfortunately, the Wellington Street so-called ultra fast DC charger, it hasn't actually gone to full rate. For a while ago, or since it was put in, it was at 50 kilowatts maxed out, and now it's roughly 100 and something kilowatts. So it still hasn't come up to full rate yet. God knows why, but it is what it is.
I think there turned out to be a current limitation on the site that they hadn't anticipated, so they had to back off the maximum charging amps on the units.
Gee,
that makes sense, doesn't it?
So they didn't know how fat the copper was that went into the building.
Yep.
Or the specification didn't match reality.
Yeah, that too. Question for people who've used supercharger, the Tesla supercharger. I've never done that yet. However, I'm going to do that in Canberra. Is there anything to worry about, or just
something very
connect
important?
and go?
Very important. There are two plugs. There's one that's smaller than the other. Put the big one in, because if you put the small one in, which will fit, nothing will happen. So that's just the type 2. It's the upper part. It's the upper part of the. Actually, we've got a problem.
Yeah, so
you're at a supercharger right now, and you see this one. Don't use this one. Yeah, I know that's a
type 2. I need the DC plugs.
Yep. So you need the one with the two bottom ones underneath on the supercharger. It doesn't actually hurt if you put this one in. It just won't do anything. That's why.
So what is that?
Sorry.
What is that for?
What
car is that for?
That's actually a Chatamo.
That's for those of us with Model S and Model X that don't have a big enough hole for the CCS2 combined charger. So Tesla have done a retrofit that allows them to use supercharging over the normal Type 2 connector, but it's only Model S and X. So if you've got Model 3, plug in the CCS2 combo, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah, so for the Model S's and X's, not that it really matters, but they basically jam the positive or negative, I forget which way it goes, down these two pins and these two pins in parallel. And that's just something that Tesla decided to do with longer. It's an extension of the Monique's Type 2 standard. Yeah. Before sort of CCS.
So the only other tip for superchargers is normal superchargers are in pairs. So you can see in the background of Richard's thing, each supercharger has two stands for each controller, and they're labeled as such. So they'll be labeled 1A, 1B.
I know, the other way. 2A,
2B, and so the trick is, if you want maximum power out of a supercharger, make sure you're the only guy on each set if possible. So if there's someone else already supercharging, don't park right next to them. Always leave a gap of one so that you're on the next number.
That makes sense.
So they're labeled.
It's like sharing bandwidth.
Treat it like your vinyl.
Unless of course unless they're on 2B and you're on 2A, you can be side by side.
Yeah. But that's right. But the easy rule of thumb when you're driving in is if there's a gap, take a gap, and just make sure you're not on the same number as someone else of the AB pair, and then you'll get max. Then you won't limit their rate, and you won't limit yours.
The car is too new to me to park beside somebody.
It's like when you walk into the gents and there's a road of urinals and you go opposite. You leave one, go one.
Yep. Bit of privacy, thanks.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
But apart from that, enjoy the joy of using a supercharger where you literally just drive up, plug in, and walk away, and buy a coffee. You don't have to do anything else. There's no messing around. You just plug it in, walk away.
Okay, so there's no cost yet, even though I have 1,500 from the referral free. There is no charging back or anything like that to worry about, or I know you use the
no,
RSC.
as long as you've got a some kind of payment method attached to your Tesla account, because if you generate idle fees or any of that sort of thing, they want to hit that. But if you've got some free supercharging credit left, then absolutely, you just plug it in and it'll start to consume that, and it won't charge you anything else.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just about to comment that I used the supercharger in Bunbury on the weekend and drove away, and the car told me that I wasn't allowed to use superchargers anymore until I connected my credit card to my Tesla account. So
that's
I
right.
neglected to do that. I didn't realise.
Yeah, so you do need to have a payment method attached to your Tesla account, because that's how it automatically bills you if you've run out of free credit.
Yeah, so I haven't done that yet. So obviously I'll do that just so that I get a foot in the door.
Yep, absolutely.
And hopefully the superchargers you see won't be like this, whereby they've put the signs right in the middle where you're going to back into, which is a bit unfortunate. But
that just forces ultimate Tesla parking. So you have to park between the two posts.
yes, you use the line. The white line is the center marker for your car.
Exactly, that's what you're going to have to do. Yeah.
What genius installed that?
Well, indeed.
What's even better is the signs used to be on the grass, and they moved them onto the bitumen.
So they could do the mowing.
Oh, it's for sure. It's work health and safety for the mowers. Get the pieces of steel out of the way.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, you definitely, Steve, you're going to love supercharging. One thing you'll get to is as your car approaches the state of charge you selected, so let's call it 90%, about 15 minutes before, you'll get a warning on your app, which will say that your supercharging session will end soon, and then you should go back to your car, because they have idle fees if the supercharger site is more than 50% occupied.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but however, if you're the only person there, then you can afford to overstay, because that's not bad etiquette in that situation. But you will get a notification that says, hey, your charging session will end soon.
Yeah, and I intend to go into the Canberra supercharger, which is near a DFO or something like that. So wander across and have a look through there.
From memory, it's near the airport, I think. But
yeah, and there's a DFO at the airport and Costco and a few other things.
Of course there is, because you wouldn't want airports to be primarily places where planes take off and land. You want to have DFOs and other things.
Yeah, and superchargers.
That's a good purpose for sure. And I think there's an extra there's some fast food thing there as well. So it's you can be.
I'm sure there'll be things to keep me occupied.
Awesome. And you're going further past Canberra after that, Steve?
Yeah, heading up towards Paul's part of the world, up in Brisbane. And with the motorhome, we're travelling only about 95 kilometres an hour. So it makes a fairly slow day, but keeps the range up.
Yeah, you get awesome economy, especially if you were driving behind the van.
As we talked about, Harold, I don't trust the roads that much, though. And the truck drivers there who are a bit crazy, so I want to give enough room for them to overtake stupidly, pull in between the two vehicles, and then they can continue on the next blind bend.
Yes, we've all seen a bit of that happening. Oh dear, cool, fantastic. And well, the good thing too, now that you're in fast DC charging land, you can safely stow that 3-phase tail in your frunk and not have to use it in anger for a long time.
Yeah, touch wood on that one. I'm still a bit pragmatic or realist or whatever.
Oh, it's good to have a backup. But there are
Oh,
lots
yes.
of places too that have Type 2 outlets or even test destination chargers.
Mm.
You know, I've been to many hotels that have them, and well, only for the prime reason because they have a destination charger.
Yeah. And that's why it works. It brings the trade in. I mean, I've spoken to people about why do people do that? And I said, well, like councils, they want to bring people in. You go to connect up, especially AC is going to take a while. You're going to go and do things locally.
Yeah,
spend money.
absolutely. Fantastic. Cool. So has anyone else got any other questions, comments, any news?
Yes, Harold, it's John Weaver.
Yes, John.
If you were going to purchase one of the or a charge, the extension cord for the
Type 2, yes.
Well, I went down to, for instance, down to Albany, and I pulled into the McDonald's there, and I didn't realise that it was a BYO unit.
Yes.
And you need to plug something in. Well, I thought, well, if that's the case, what's the best universal charger or close to universal charger or cord that you could actually purchase?
Yes, so it's a Type 2 to Type 2 cable. We actually have them for club members. They're normally $300, but you can get them for $265 as a Tokwa member. It's not cheap, but unfortunately, I mean, it is what it is. And that's a Type 2 cable. So when you look on PlugShare, when you put your filter for Type 2, in the vast majority of cases, except for some of the Porsche destination chargers, they have no cable. So they just have an outlet that you have to plug a cable
Socket
in.
of some form.
Yeah, socket, which you plug your cable in. And then the other end, you plug the other end of the cable into your car. So that's a Type 2. I'll just get an image of what that sort of looks like. Oops, sorry, I haven't got my correct filters on.
So when you say we can get it for $265, where do we get that to? Where do we purchase it?
Just send an email to secretary@tokwa.org.au and I'll get in contact with you.
Excellent. Actually, I did that during the week.
Yes, you did.
On the subject.
And I'm getting back to you.
That's good.
Oopsie.
Someone could tell I was busy. So for instance, I'll just bring the image up now.
So the Type 2 that you're talking about is that universal for any other type of?
Yes. So you see here, it's a little bit small, but this is a Model X, and the cable is in the car, and it's also plugged into the charger. So it's a green cable. In fact, this is one of Tokwa's Type 2 cables. It's a green cable, comes with a carry bag as well. And that's 7.5 meters long. Because, I mean, obviously in this case, you can see there's lots of spare cable, but sometimes you get iced, whereby an internal combustion engine vehicle will park in your EV bay, and you may have to park next door, and the cable will still reach. So that's about the only cable you really need to buy, but only if there are sufficient numbers of charging places or opportunities for you to get back that $265. In other words, you don't want to just use it once in a blue moon. In fact, if you're on a road trip, obviously, John, you're in Kojonup, so that by definition, you already are on a road trip as far as we're concerned. But you can borrow a Type 2 cable for free from the club. That's one of the bonuses.
I want to purchase one because I often go down to Albany.
Yep.
And I need something down there.
Bearing in mind, John, you do know that there is actually a Tesla destination charger in Albany that is free to use at the library, I think.
Library, yeah. I didn't go there. I was involved in, I went down for some medical reasons and got tied up with those. But even so, I still think going down to use this EV station would be good.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
But I just wanted to make sure that if I spent $265 or $300 for a cable, that it's going to be a useful cable rather than something I've just got to buy once in just one station.
Well, absolutely. And the best way to show that is if you go to PlugShare and you go into filters, if you deselect everything but type 2, then when you pull out on the map, you'll see where all the type 2 locations are. So for instance, in Albany, there's only one, which is at McDonald's in Orana.
Yeah.
But that's the only place in Albany. And in fact, it's the only type 2 that's basically anywhere near Albany. So I dare say if you're mainly driving to Albany, if you can use the library's HPWC, the high power wall connector or the destination charger, then you can save yourself $265 because there's nowhere else around in the south of the state, the Great South or Great Southern, that has a type 2 charger.
Yeah, but you've got them over Bridgetown by the look of it, or
oh well, actually, and that's where it gets complicated. This thing actually doesn't need a cable either, because this is the RAC, which is under.
Oh, right, okay.
But that's the RAC one, which actually has it. This one does have its own cable. So this does have its own type 2 cable, which I think is, you can't actually see it. But anyway, so basically the bridge, I'll just change this filter to Chatamo as well. Yeah, that'll do. Just for simplicity. All of these orange pins, they also have a type 2 outlet. They also do fast DC charging, but they do show up as a green pin if you only have the type 2 filter selected, and these have their own outlets, their own cable built in,
right.
Except for the one in Kojonup, which is a tritium unit. So these RAC highway chargers, and sorry, just ignore the Treendale and the Bunbury one. The Treendale one. So all of these orange pins have a type 2 cable installed. So if we just take the Chatamo off again, even though it looks like there's quite a few that you can use here, you don't need a cable for them. And in fact, I think House of Cards might be one. I can't remember if this is the Porsche one or not. No, it's not. Oh, Swings and Roundabouts. Again, this one shows up as type 2, but it, oh no, does this, have you been there, Ken? No, this includes, this actually includes the cable. The cable comes with it.
Yes, that's a Porsche one that's got a cable.
Porsche one. So if it's, shout out to Natalia for taking that photo. Yes, so the Porsche ones don't need a cable either. So actually, John, to be honest, in your situation, if you're mainly going to Albany or anywhere around here, you're only going to have one single place, which is a McDonald's in Orana, that you can use the cable, basically.
Right.
So,
well, see, I can get down again without recharging. Maybe I'll just hang off.
Well, the point is, if we take the filters back to just even Tesla, you've got the Albany Visitor Centre, City of Albany Visitor Centre, which has a ordinary destination charger. So that plugs straight into your car without any accessory.
Right. Still, if I'm going down there and I'm in a hurry, or got some problems.
Yes.
And one of the libraries full.
Yeah, absolutely. There is also yeah. So I guess it's a matter of, is $265 worth a single place you're going to charge for the convenience? And look, I've been at places where I would have paid twice as much as that just to get a good charge, on occasion. So, but yeah, but you can certainly, say if you're up in Perth, you're certainly more than welcome to borrow a cable to suss it out. If you come to Perth much, or otherwise, yeah, it's $265. That's sort of the cheapest offering there is. Interestingly enough, you can actually buy them at Bunnings, but they're actually a fair bit more expensive than a smaller cable, shorter cable.
So I'll be in touch with you.
Yeah.
By the way, just for interest, I had a puncture the other day. Well, it wasn't a puncture. I split a tire. 4 days after I got my car, I've got bitumen road all around, except that there's a kilometre of driveway up into the farm, and I had it graded, and the end result was that the grader must have turned up a rock and split it, and so I went up over it and ended up with an 80 millimetre split in the tyre. So I had to replace a brand new tyre. But the point really that I'd like to pass on is that I got it up into my machinery shed, and I'm 25 kilometres out of town. I called up the Kojonup tyre service, which is, blokes down there, Colin Black, and just called him up and said, look, I've got a problem. And he said, well, tell me the size of the tyre. He had a new tyre up the next day, and he took it out, or rather, he was going to go out. He went out to the farm, and immediately he lifted up the boot and said, well, where's the spare? And there's no spare, of course. So he had to leave his jack behind and take mine off, take it down to Kojonup, change the tyre, took it back, and it cost me $100 just to bring the tyre back. But the point really is that $100 for that. I mean, he drove out to my location, changed the tyre, changed the wheel rather, took it back to Kojonup, swapped the tyre over and took it back again, and then he charged me $100, which I thought was pretty reasonable.
Right.
And had it all done within 2 days, or 3 days actually. And I just thought that if anybody's going through Kojonup and has a problem, just remember that, because I thought it was pretty good service.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And the good thing is these tyres aren't exotic. So one great thing is there is a ready supply of them. So even if you're driving around Australia, there will be tyres around.
Well, the one on my machine is a Hankook tyre. I've never heard of a Hankook tyre, but I'm told that they're all pretty common for this type of thing. But he has a fairly steady supply of starts with M. I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, he's got them there, and he can get them up within a day. So if you do lose a tyre and you need something, I thought it was pretty good. And he only charged me $380 or something for the tyre. Actually, $280 for the tyre. Central Station, and they've done that. And the charge works fine. It half an hour on the machine, and it charges it up beautifully. So no problem at all.
Okay, thanks. For some reason, it looks like we've lost Harold. Hello, he's back.
Sorry, my Zoom just completely died, and I had this moment of terror thinking that it's just disconnected everyone. And anyway,
no, it just disconnected you, Harold.
Yeah. So I quickly sort of got it on my phone just in case, and anyway, never mind. So sorry about that. We've got a resumption of program. Did you miss me?
Always, mate.
No,
of course we did.
It was terrible.
But thankfully, it's good to see that Zoom is actually resilient, and it doesn't matter if the host leaves. Oh dear.
It actually made Tom the host whilst you were gone.
Well done, Tom. Cool. Sorry, so I missed that last bit, but anyway, we'll move right along. So has anyone got any other bits of news or anything that's been going on?
Only that there was a couple of bogans in Rockingham. I was parked outside my father-in-law's nursing home, and I got back and it said 2
Sentry mode things, and there were these two young kids, and they were pressing on the door handle and pulling it. And then one goes, "Look, there's a camera," and they go, "Oh, hello." Little bastards. No scratches or scrapes though.
And I guess the fact that your MCU, the touchscreen probably said you are being recorded, also gave them a hint.
I think it might have.
I'm getting my my infotainment upgrade tomorrow.
Ooh.
I know. I'm finally going for it. Well, it actually started with the driver's door handle died on me. But you know, not bad for 6 years for a 6-year-old car. Finally, the known issue of the older Model S's with the little gear inside falling apart, and then because of that, it's now getting the CCS2 upgrade and the infotainment upgrade, and I'm getting a wheel alignment. So,
will that mean that you'll be able to see the cones and the dustbins on the side of the road?
No,
now?
Because I don't have self-driving because I have an autopilot 1 car. So,
oh dear.
Sunshine Roses. But what they are doing, and this is something unusual that that I didn't even know they did, is because I'm up on site at the moment, and Emma's at home with the baby. She couldn't do anything with the car, so Tesla are actually coming and picking the car up tomorrow, taking it to Osborne Park, doing everything, and then bringing it back. I thought that was incredible. I was so appreciative.
That's terrible service, isn't it? Terrible.
Obviously, I've never
Typical
heard
Tesla.
I dare say the $3,000 you're spending could be a bit of a motive.
3.5. Yeah. It probably helps.
But that's actually quite good. That's great to see. I mean, that's, you know, to go to the south of the river is not trivial. Well, west actually, and that's awesome on your Tesla.
No, I was really impressed.
Cool. I guess it's good for them to take away that friction.
Yeah. Oh, because they were going to come and do the door handle and the CCS2 upgrade, and then when I got back, I was going to have to then take it into the infotainment and the wheel alignment. But yeah, Adam just called me up today and said, "Look, do you want to, just come and pick it up tomorrow, and we'll do the lot."
And I think the good thing there is they can get everything done in the comfort of the service center, rather than sending out the service tech in his car in a Model S.
Yep.
So, which incidentally is I think it's a black car that's been wrapped white. Yes, it has.
Oh, okay.
So it's a black car. It looks white because all Tesla service cars are white, but it's actually a white wrap, which is really interesting. And it's a AP1 car because they always use the old cars as their service cars.
Rear wheel drive or four wheel drive?
Oh, I don't know that, to be honest.
I only asked that because you get a bit more room in the front if you've got an AP1 car with only rear wheel drive.
That's right. You got the cavernous front. That's right. Yes.
You can get a full size spare in there, which we can't do on ours. So there's actually a benefit to having just a rear wheel drive older Model S. Who knew?
It's about the only benefit.
yeah, that's it.
That's cool because now you'll be welcome to the world of Netflix and YouTube and stuff.
I know. What do I do? Playing beach buggy racing and everything. Awesome. Yeah, fantastic.
Cool. So, anyone else got any bits?
Yeah, just am I receiving? Yeah.
Yeah, better. Yeah, go.
A couple of things. One is I just was sitting at my desk and I realised I've got a thing of tonic water which I'm drinking, and I've got a UV torch and a UV laser on it. But if you, I don't know if you've seen tonic water, it's got quinines, it's got fluorescent quinines in it, and hang on, there. Oh, sorry, that's set on flash. Sorry. So this is a 3 watt. You can sort of, it doesn't show it very well, does it?
Yeah, that is lit up as.
This is a 25 milliwatt laser. Sorry, I just can't get it.
It's because you got the screen background on, I think. But
Yeah. That works really well.
Wicked.
And so fluorescence anyway. Just I thought it's interesting because I just had them sitting on my table as you do. First thing. Second thing is I'm thinking of sort of our very old dog is going to be put down next week, and he's sort of in his last legs. But it does free us up to actually going somewhere because they won't accept him in the kennels anymore. So we're just wondering about going up to New Norcia, and my wife was asking about there's a 3-phase thing at New Norcia, a 3-phase plug. I've probably got one actually. I've probably got a 3-phase plug in my box of tricks. But no, I could probably wire that up to whatever. But I'm just wondering, what does that actually connect up to? If you've got a 3-phase, I presume it's probably 16 amp 3-phase or something like that.
Yeah, so I'll just bring up plug share just to check because things have moved around a bit.
A bit like the one in Kalbarri, I presume, which is no doubt sort of in megafarad now, probably.
Yeah, so hang on. So you're saying you're going to? Oh, sorry, I just get back.
The Puma station or something, or
Yep. New Norcia is plugs 3-phase. That one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
New Norcia. There we go. Puma. So the first thing to do is obviously look at the check-in. So Ken was there on the 2nd of January. So I'm not sure if Ken's still on, but that looks to be working perfectly okay. So you can borrow a 3-phase. Do you have a 3-phase tail?
No, I don't. I've actually got the plug as a sort of, as a unit because because you do. It's probably on my table somewhere.
So are you going from Bunbury straight to New Norcia, or are you going via Perth, I presume? Because that's actually.
Yeah. It's probably where's New Norcia? It's somewhere along the way. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. We wouldn't make that in one day. Sorry, we wouldn't make it in one trip.
Yep.
We might make it there, but it'd have to be a bit empty by the time we got there. So yeah.
Yeah. So for instance, as a reference, New Norcia is approximately 130-ish kilometres from Perth, from the centre of Perth. So if you popped up in Perth, you could certainly do it. You're in a long range or SR plus?
Yeah, long range. Yeah.
Long range. So look, you can easily make it from Perth to New Norcia and back without bothering to charge in New Norcia at all.
Except my wife drives really fast.
No, it's 135 k's. So
yeah,
it's less than 260 k's return. 270, sorry.
Oh,
return.
Okay. Gotcha, yeah.
So so that'll be fine.
The actual cable, the 3-phase plug. There's a cable from that to a one that sticks in your car.
Yeah, no. So what you need is either a 3-phase tail for your UMC, which will give you 32 amps single phase, or you can borrow a 3-phase adapter from the club, which is basically, it's got a 32 amp plug and it'll provide 16 amps 3-phase to your car, which is 11 kilowatts, which is as fast as it can charge on AC. So what you could do, if you like, Peter, is on your way through Perth, you can just pick it up on your way up.
Yep.
And, well, drop it back on your way back.
Yeah, okay.
And
Harold, is that 16 amps through each of the 3 phases?
Yes. So your car can charge in 2 different ways. This is for Model 3s. Can charge in 2 different ways or 2 different modes on AC. In 3-phase, you can absorb up to 11 kilowatts 3-phase, which is 16 amps 3-phase. Or if it's a single phase outlet, EVSE, it can charge 32 amps single phase, which is 7-point-something kilowatts.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if you have an S or an X, a newish S or X, you can charge at 17 kilowatts, which is 24 amps 3-phase. And if you have one of the older Model S's, you can charge at 22 kilowatts. Go Richard. So that's basically 32 amps, 3-phase. But the vast majority of people are Model 3 owners, so you can do 16 by 3 or 32 by 1. So Peter, yeah, if you're going up to New Norcia, you're more than welcome to borrow. And the good thing is, what I do is I just leave it out the front of my place on a bench, so you can do it as a dead pickup and as a dead drop.
I have done that before. So.
Yes, so we try and make it as convenient as possible. But like I said, the return trip from Perth is well within the range of your car, provided you leave Perth with, say, 90%. And you can charge up at a fast DC charger in Coburn, UWA. There's lots of places. Guildford, which is free at the moment. That's at CJ Dodds at Ross's Ross's discount, whatever place.
Yeah. Harold, if I could just make a request, if people could mute their microphone when they're not talking, I'm getting a hell of a lot of feedback, of scratching and so on. Yeah, there we go. It's just getting unbearable.
No, we still got it. No,
I think it's.
Yeah, it was Mr. iPad and then Ship who's just logged on.
Oh, Peter.
Getting feedback through him.
I'm still here. This guy ran.
Stop. Oh, I just muted Peter, and that's killed a lot of the. Sorry, Peter, I just muted you. I'm not sure who had the scratching.
It's me. I think it's me. I can't turn it off. This one.
Oh, you got two running, Pete. No, I've just muted you, Pete. So now you've gone. So you got two things going. Yep, now it's quiet.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was just getting bloody annoying.
Cool. So that's a good way to kill the conversation in the room.
Just mute everybody, Harold.
Harold, I'm going to shoot off because it's getting late here. So.
Oh yes, no worries, Paul. Yeah, thanks for joining in again.
Yeah, really good.
Good haircut, by the way. It looks like there's a few good haircuts going around.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm going as well. But thanks very much. I find these sessions really fantastic. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no worries. It's on YouTube if you need to get to sleep another night.
Yes, I noticed you record. Excellent,
yes,
thank you.
No worries. This one will be in 2 pieces because I stopped recording, but I'll try and piece it together. But yeah, thanks, Thomas, and thanks, Paul. Take care.
Right.
Good night sleep, and we'll
Thanks,
catch you next time.
Bye.
And I'm off as well, Harold. See ya.
No worries.
I think I've got an upset people now.
You haven't upset me, it was me.
Oh, that's a great way to clear the room there,
Yeah,
Nigel.
quite funny, Nigel. So there's that.
At least you weren't being cantankerous. That's a good thing.
Sorry, I'll try harder next time.
Pete, how you going? You're back on.
Yes, I've eventually closed the other one down and stopped the interference. It was me that caused that trouble.
Yeah, cool. You've got a fair bit of echo, but that's okay. You're in a small room.
No, it's not a small room, but I've not used a laptop before for this, and I'm just trying to get it all sorted.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's really strange. It sounds like you're in a very small room, but it's just got some echo. It might be the laptop doing its audio thing or whatever.
Yeah, could be.
Cool. And welcome to Joe. Well, Joe and Seb have been on all evening lurking. So welcome. Hopefully the kids are asleep by now. Well, they should be in a minute.
Hi. It's just me. There's no Seb.
Oh.
Nothing.
Hello.
Still awake. They're listening in, so no swearing, please.
Oh, we try not. We definitely try not to.
Yeah, you definitely do put them to sleep though, because I've got you on speaker whilst I'm in the kitchen doing stuff. So.
Well, I
yeah.
think if you look on YouTube, a couple of weeks ago, we had like a 3 hour and 47 minute session, So
Yeah.
that's as big as Ben Hur. So, you know, you could use that to get them to sleep, and then you could use it to wake them up in the morning. That's probably cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
What happened to me today? Yeah, this happened to me today. Is my phone sort of tends to turn on in my pocket, and because I left it on summon, it's the last thing I did because I've got a very narrow garage and I can't get out of the car and in the garage with my wife's car next to it. So I summoned it into the gap, and I did that, went inside. And so anyway, I sort of saw my phone was in my pocket, you know, sort of you know, half an hour later, and sort of it's gone on to smart summon and say, where do you want it to go? Do you want to go to your location? Oops. just press and hold, it said, which it could easily done, but of course it wouldn't have gone anywhere. So,
I actually went to work, and my accounts lady said, "Oh, you rang me last night," and I go, "No, I didn't." And she goes, "Yeah, look at your phone." And sure enough, there was a call, only for a few seconds, to her phone number. And I knew I was actually at an EVA, Electric Vehicle Association meeting. So I knew exactly where I was at the time my phone rang, and I knew that I hadn't tried to ring. And she said, "Oh, maybe you got Siri turned on." And I said, No, Siri's off. So I just went, "Hey, Siri." And then my phone went, "Yes, what is it?" And it's like, it somehow turned itself back on. So then I had to go through the actual hassle of finding where to turn it off again. But of course, I never said, "Hey, Siri, ring so-and-so." But somehow my phone had decided just to do its own thing.
It tends to pick up something that sounds similar, and then it will start trying to obey whatever you say next.
So
I was driving the other day, and I asked my phone to call Ray, and then it started calling RAC Recovery without confirmation. It was like, no, and now I'm driving, and now I'm on the phone when I don't want to be, and I'm not happy.
Actually, a worse thing than that is for Model S's and X's, you get like a little matchbox-sized remote control that sort of looks like the car. It's got buttons so you can unlock it and open the boot and the frunk and whatever. And you can actually buy them for your Model 3 as well. So I think they're $280 odd. They're not cheap. But anyway, I've had that sometimes in my pocket next to my phone where it jams up against the side of the phone. And on an iPhone, if you press the power button, if you press and hold it for more than a few seconds, it actually initiates an emergency call. So it dials 000. And you hear like this, it's like a siren type warning tone that's telling you that it's about to do this. So then I'm driving along, trying to grab at my pocket to whip this phone out to tell it to cancel. But of course, by that time, it had already actually started ringing. But thankfully, they hadn't picked up yet. And there must be a threshold where if you sort of accidentally ring and hang up straight away, they won't register it as a missed call or ring you back. So I've dodged that bullet a couple of times. But
and you dodged the $400 and 3-point fine for touching your phone whilst driving a car.
For the purposes of this,
you pulled over and stopped.
I was on the road reserve, Your Honour.
You were in your driveway.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it.
Parking your car in your garage. Yes.
Emma actually had one the other day. She was coming home. This is another one of the reasons why I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for this infotainment upgrade and just get everything sorted. Because she was coming home. She accidentally called, I don't know, the doctors or something. Got the answer phone, couldn't hang up. The actual call hang up had just disappeared off the binnacle. So she literally ended up ringing, leaving a 4-minute, voicemail, just getting more and more frustrated. She couldn't call me to see if the cat was in the garage, which of course he was. So she opens the garage door. I see the cat out of the corner of my eye flee. So I'm running after him while trying to not get run over by her. It was very amusing. I thought it was funny anyway. Emma didn't see the funny side for a while.
It's only funny because you didn't get run over, and nor did your cat. So,
Yes.
Dear. But yeah, look, getting the MCU too, it's just a breath of fresh air for your car. So yeah.
I must admit, I'm mostly doing it for the LTE connection.
Yes.
I am sad I'm not going to keep the radio. I mean, I could spend more and keep it, but I don't think it's really worth it.
You only get FM though.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Do I even have AM?
Probably. You have AM. I think you do.
Yeah.
Model S.
I'd never use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly for the LTE connection and the speed of the responsiveness of the touchscreen.
Yes.
That's about. I didn't realise though they actually changed the binnacle display as well.
Yes.
I didn't realise they changed both displays, which is interesting because it's going to solve a problem that I didn't realise was a known issue. There's the glass that glues the glue that glues the glass to the screen has started to have these like little bubbles in it.
Yes.
And I'd always meant to query that with Tesla, and Adam said, "Oh yeah, no, that's an issue with the glue." So getting the infotainment upgrade is actually going to fix that problem.
That's right. Yep.
So,
and when you go to reset, you don't have to do the double reset of resetting your MCU and your binnacle. Just when you press the thumb. Oh.
Because the full one is the top two buttons and the scroll wheels.
Yes, but now what you could do is do the scroll wheels, and that will reset both screens simultaneously. Because it's one computer. Because now one computer runs both.
I didn't realise it. So it's okay. Okay, so the top two reset one, and the bottom two and the scroll wheels reset the other. So that's why you had to do it both at the same time.
Well, you have to do it both at the same time. You had to press the scroll wheels to do the MCU and press the two upper buttons at the same time to do the binnacle. But now you only press the scroll wheels, and that will reset everything because it's only one computer now. There's not two computers.
Okay, so, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they worked out there's no point keeping the binnacle screen and trying to unplug the daughter board or whatever. They just replaced the whole unit, which should only be is it $2,500?
I think 2-3 plus GST.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
which is 2.9 if you have AP2, which you would you do.
Yes. Oh, is it dearer? That's interesting.
Well, I only know that because I was looking on Tesla's site today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I got sucked in and paid the dearer price. I think it was 3.5 or something when it first came out, because Tesla.
But you should have got a refund for that.
No. None of us qualify because, as far as Tesla are concerned, our units hadn't failed yet.
Really?
Same as yours. With yours playing up, that's not considered a wearing out item. It's not that they don't accept that it's the eMMC that was causing all the problems, unless it dies profoundly, which it hasn't. So therefore, they won't. They don't give you any refunds or anything.
Yeah, right.
So
wow. Okay.
But look, the good thing is you'll put it behind you, and it'll be awesome. And if you're on a longer trip, you don't mind charging by the side of the road if you can watch Netflix or YouTube or something, just for entertainment.
Yeah, it's probably something that I haven't really considered a value yet, but probably will.
Well, I find, I sort of watch a bit of YouTube, and if you combine that with sitting in your car charging, you're actually sort of using your time, it's like multitasking in the sense that you're doing something you'd probably do at home anyway, but you're doing it while you're out and about charging your car.
Do any of the rest of you with Model 3s do that? Watch YouTube while you're charging? Or
yeah, I don't have the $9.99 a month thing. Yeah. So I usually have a little tablet on my Android phone and watch that there. But if I'm going to be parked for half an hour or whatever, I'm usually off having a coffee at the local shops.
True.
We do it on holiday. We just pay the $9.99 if it's in a
Oh, yeah.
holiday month, and then because we're on the caravan site or something, because we
Yeah.
have a tent, so we don't have a TV, and then we watch, or the kids watch Netflix in the car for a little bit.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
That's very clever, Joe.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
cancel it again when we come back.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
idea.
But are you committed for the whole month? Can you get it for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Or
No, you pay. Well, it's only $10, so
Yeah.
you get it for the whole month. It often does 2 holidays, because if it's in school holidays, we often go away camping twice, like 2 long weekends or whatever. So yeah, it's worth it.
yeah, nice. Can you watch Netflix by tethering your Wi-Fi to your phone? Does that?
Yes, I've done that. Well, I don't know about watching Netflix, but I've done
You
YouTube.
do it with YouTube, yeah.
Surf,
Seb
yeah.
sometimes does it with YouTube.
Yeah, by
when we
tethering
don't
my
have
phone.
it.
Yeah.
Because that's not such a bad alternative if because these days, your plans, your mobile phone data plans are quite large, and most people don't even touch the sides of their data plan.
No, I don't. I've got something like 60 something gigabytes a month.
Yeah, and that's
and
tons.
I don't use 10. And I'm with Vodafone, and they had a 4G
Oh, we've got it free
outage.
this weekend.
Yeah, and they've gone and said, look, we're very sorry that Australia-wide was a 4G outage, and all your data and so on. So we're going to give you free data this coming weekend. I go, I've still got 50 gigabytes I don't use. That's not much. Give me money.
Yes, they want to give you something that's of no value to them.
It's of no value to me.
Well, that's a good pro tip there, Joe. Just to do the casual, that's very good.
Yeah, especially if you've got kids and it's rainy holiday or whatever, you can stick them in the car and they can watch a bit of something, a movie or whatever.
And don't forget, if you want to watch, say, live TV, you can, if you scroll down on our videos, I've got the links to all the other streaming services. So it's got ABC iView, SBS On Demand, Channel 9 and 7, 9 Now and 7, no, whatever it is, 7 Now and 9, whatever. Sorry, 7 Plus and 9 Now. And that you can actually stream live video through your through YouTube. So that works quite well.
Yeah. And we they often watch ABC Kids through the browser. The kids, even the 6-year-old knows exactly how to get. I don't know, but how to get onto the browser and onto the favourites there, and then he watches Bluey.
Yeah,
so,
of course. Yeah, cool.
Even when they getting ready in the morning. So when we're here, then we've got the Wi-Fi. So we've got the connectivity, and that incites them to get ready and get out. Because if they can get out in the car and we're not ready, then they can watch an episode of Bluey or whatever, and they're in the car.
So that means by definition they're already dressed and fed and watered.
Yeah,
and
they
ready.
get themselves all ready and get in the car. It's how to get your kids in the car. If they get in before us, they can watch something.
So you got to buy a Tesla that can watch Bluey. That's it. Awesome.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a very compelling use case. Cool. That's good. But yeah, the casual monthly thing, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Except I'll get you for 2 months over the Christmas holidays because you have to do December, January.
Yeah, sometimes we do. If we're going away in January, then we pay the 2, but that's okay.
Yeah, cool. Excellent.
It's also good for traffic data as well when you're traveling, you're going. I mean, I always just put traffic on Google Maps. So I have the in-car navigator going to where I'm going, but I also put it on Google Maps so that I can see if there's any crashes on the freeway, which there often are. But what did happen the other day was I was coming from Willerton back down to Buckingham, and there was a crash on the freeway, and Google Maps was saying don't do the freeway and go right out to Stock Road. And also, even though there was no traffic data on the car also said to do that way as well. So even though it's not showing you traffic data because you're not paying for it, it is actually routing you the right way.
Yes,
so that's
I've
a wrong
noticed
Australian
that.
word.
I don't have the $9.99 a month thing, but I have noticed sometimes it's taking me off the freeway around the few other things, come back on a couple of stops further down, and then when I get home, you watch the news. There was a crash on the freeway.
Happening. Yeah.
So does that mean that perhaps
the data is there. It's just not showing it.
It's just not showing it.
Yeah.
It's doing the routing.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool because, I mean, you don't really care if you see it bleeding red everywhere or not, as long as the navigation is telling you to go the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to know. So you don't actually, because that was one reason why we did keep it for a while, was for the traffic data, because it was just a bit of a pain having to run Google Maps on the phone at the same time. But yeah, when that happened the other day and my phone was saying leave the freeway and so was the car, then I thought, well, that's quite good.
Actually, and to be honest, it sort of makes sense. It'd be a bit mean of Tesla to
to send you straight into the traffic jam.
Yeah. And I guess, but at least they can still say on their brochure for the $10 subscription that it's traffic visualization.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, isn't it? Traffic visualization, not traffic data, because you are actually getting the traffic data.
That's cool.
But I know that Emma once had a work meeting where she was the only one that turned up because everyone else had been.
Nobody looks at Google Maps. I don't understand why.
Didn't even look at it. It was like, oh, just went where the car told me to go.
It's because everyone knows how to get to work, so you just do what you always do every day. Except, you know, if some semi-trailer is rolled on the freeway, well, then you're not going to get through. But in fact, that reminds me of when we did that Galaxy Drive-In meetup. It was more than a year ago now. I was going back home and the car had said, oh, don't go the freeway, go Wanneroo Road. And I thought, oh no, that's crazy. That's much slower. I know how to get home. I'll go the freeway. But of course they had roadworks and we were stuck for like 3/4 of an hour. So then I promised myself in front of my wife that I would always pay attention. I'd always go the way the car said because it always knows.
When I've because when I go to the airport to go up to the site, it either takes me Leach Highway or Row Highway, but it's even sent me one way and then directed me on the other way as like through the drive. So it's pretty cool.
Which you can do under navigate section when you're on the navigate when you navigate to somewhere and you hit the settings button, you can actually change the time that it will try and save. I think the default is 10 minutes, but you can actually set it down to 1 minute. So if it can find a faster route that'll save, well, as little as 1 minute, it'll do that. But yeah, you're right, Richard, it can be a bit frustrating when it changes its mind for whatever reason.
No, I actually like it. I set it to 1 minute.
Oh yeah, well that's right. But yeah, but it is.
And then you get stuck at a traffic light for 1 minute and then you're actually slower. Because it doesn't know what the traffic light's going to be when you turn up, does it?
No, the sort of factors that in it. It must take an average of the time. And it's amazing how you can do like a 40-minute trip and it'll predict that, you know, whatever time, it'll predict you're going to get there at 8:30 and it's plus or minus a minute.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's scary. It's amazing how it does it.
It's actually because you're missing the tolls and the ferries. That's why.
I always seem to get there early. I don't know, you know, I've got a spasm in the right calf or something.
I think you do.
I felt your spasm.
Yes, well, you don't have full self-driving, so you don't have to worry about it trying to brake at red lights. Oh no, you do actually. You do have full self-driving.
I do. Nigel doesn't.
I do have full self-driving.
Oh, you do? Okay,
yes.
sorry.
And I go most of the way on FSD. And it still hasn't crashed, but then I have been sitting in the driver's seat, not in the back seat. Yeah.
Well, you've just been sitting in the same side as the anyway. Doesn't matter. Cool. So this, I'm intrigued on this test. So you are going to go to John Edwards's place and stick your two cars up on the hoist, and
I think we shall.
Yeah, and it'll have to be done fairly soon before you've got 30,000 Ks up on your tyres.
Absolutely. Well, it's just clocked over, I think, 1,500 now. So I'm ranking it up.
Oh, yeah,
Actually-
I'm coming up to 39,000. So
Well, and you should too before the weather changes too much. I mean, in fact, this weekend is an ideal time because it's going to be very similar temperatures. It's going to be about 28s, 9s, even
yeah,
touching 30.
I'm busy this weekend. It would have to be the following weekend.
Cool. Deal. Done. All
Yeah,
right.
it wouldn't matter if we do it together and the temperatures and conditions are the same, then we compare the two
Exactly.
and go, okay, we can't compare this one that we've just done with the next one we do, unless the conditions are the same.
And the good thing is, unless it was pouring down with rain and really cold, both your cars will be in a cooling mode with the aircon. So in other words, you won't be affected by the heat pump or resistive heater because, you know, none of those cars will be in heating mode for another couple of months yet, if you know what I mean, like if it's in the middle of the day on a sunny day.
Yeah, when we started out last time, when I was driving down to Mandurah, my heater was on.
Yes.
Because it was below the 22 that we've got set.
Mm.
But it warmed up to 22 outside very, very soon after we'd started.
Yeah, well, and don't forget our cars, all of the Teslas are basically greenhouses because they've got the glass roof. So you absorb a bit of heat. So cool. Well, that's exciting. So next weekend, it's on. Follow-up test.
Okay, we better liaise with that, Alex, so that we can do it.
We shall. I know Sunday I'm busy. I know that Sunday I'm flat out, but yeah, we'll find a time, Nigel.
Saturday week. It's a date.
Saturday. Yeah.
We want data.
Yes. You'll get data. We'll have to get Rob and Rob to be the passengers again.
Of course.
Yes, we shall.
Awesome. Well, I'll point Rob to our Tokwa YouTube page, and he can watch us talking now. Shout out to Rob for watching later. You should have been here tonight. You know, wish you were here, but it's on. So we'll do the follow-up.
So this is going to be Saturday week, is it, Alex?
I think so. That would be, what day is that?
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday the 1st.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. No, it can't be the 3rd. It must be the 1st.
No, it'd be
the
first. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. I've just got a dinner that evening, but if we go down at, 8 in the morning or whatever, yeah.
Yep.
We can do that.
So if you go to John's, stick it up in the hoist, swap them over. Because the good thing is he's got a few spare tires, so that there will be a way of doing that methodically that won't waste too much time.
Mm.
I mean, 2 hoists would have been the easiest.
Unless we get a very friendly tyre change place in Mandurah and drive around there and say, swap our tyres over, pretty please, here's $20.
Better still, here's a shout out on the Driven news article.
Yes. Yeah, free advertising if you do it for us. What? Do you know anybody, Alex?
I know Rob uses. He put me in the right place. He told me if you ever need tires, go and see the people at Peel Tires down in Mandurah.
Yeah. Well, go and ask them if we can do that on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock and do a swap over and then come back at midday and swap them back. Although, I mean, if they're closed, we might have to wait till the following week. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
I get the new tyres.
You mean the following, same week next year?
Next year, that's the one, yeah. Sorry, Alex.
Oh, dear. One thing I thought of is you've got different aero wheels too, haven't you?
Oh, that's a good.
Because Alex, you've got the slightly different. You got the Shanghai version, so you'd have slightly different aero covers. But what you should do is swap everything, the whole thing.
Swap the whole lot.
The whole lot,
covers and so on. Yeah.
So it evens out.
I don't know. Your car's behind you there, Alex.
Yes, because that's a background photo. That one.
Yes. Yeah, I know it's a background photo, but what covers have you got on your wheels?
Let's go and have a look. I think they're.
No, just step to the left.
Just move off so that we can see the picture.
No, the other left. That's it.
There
Oh,
we go.
no, it's too dark. Sorry, no. you
Yeah.
can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very
No,
good.
there'll be the Shanghai, slightly nicer looking or different looking aero wheels, aero covers.
I really like the look of those new ones.
Yeah, they do. They look quite nice. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't care what the aero wheels look like because when you're driving, you can't see them.
Exactly.
It's only when it's parked. So all these people that go and spend fortunes on getting new rims. Yeah, I'm not mentioning anybody, Richard.
You're just jealous about my 21-inch turbine badass wheels.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, you appreciated the grip on them when we were going around that racetrack.
Yeah, I still managed to get around the 90-degree corner faster in mine than in yours.
You're welcome to it.
Speaking of which, Sunday week is our electric go-kart thingy at I forget where the place is called.
Joondalup somewhere, isn't it?
That'll do. That's it. Yeah. So we are actually sold out now, but anyone else is welcome to come along and be a spectator and just join in socially, if not driving. So so that's Sunday week, which should be good. And the awesome thing is by then we'll have the results of Saturday week's rematch of the Shanghai versus Fremont SR Plus test.
That we shall.
Well, if we do it on the Saturday, yes, we'll have the results Saturday afternoon.
Awesome. Fantastic.
To see if they want to do the tyre swap, Nigel, and go from there.
Yeah, otherwise we'd have to tee it up with John, but then it means driving down to Bunbury, charging, driving all the way back to John's and getting them changed over. So I don't know if poor old John will still be there at, it'd be about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I reckon.
Maybe, definitely ask, sorry, what type out? What is it in Mandurah?
Peel tyres.
Peel tyres, yes, sorry, peel tyres, yes. Yep. Because, I mean, they could do that so quickly, take no time.
Yeah, two jacks, both up, undo, move, down. It wouldn't take them more than about 15 minutes, the lot.
Yes, yep. And the thing is, it'll be an awesome test to do because then it basically removes that one bit of one variable, which is the age of the tyres. So if both cars were brand new, it'll be fine as is, but it's just that thing of the tyres, which incidentally, I think some of the other, there's other magazines and various companies that have done tests in the past, and you always wonder what the state of the tyres were, whether they were getting cars that were equal age, equal distance, and things like that, where sometimes they get funny results. So it'd be awesome.
And once we do this test, we can alleviate that variable out the way, and then we'll have the actual results then. So
fantastic. Awesome. That's exciting. Fantastic. Cool. So Richard, you're back home soon, or you're at the start of your swing?
Negative, Ghost Rider. I flew up here on Monday night. So when am I? Oh God, I'm already over it. When am I home? Third. Yeah. Third.
Oh, okay. So you got right. Yeah.
Which annoyingly means I'm going to miss the go-karts. But
you're on a 2-and-1 roster, are you, Richard?
2 and 2.
Sorry.
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Which is really good. But working still sucks.
Yeah, I don't know what work is. Don't know what work is now. Haven't worked for 18 months and it's brilliant.
Oh, good lad.
Well, I don't know. We're working pretty hard tonight there, Nigel.
I don't know how I had time to fit work in. I'll tell you. It's just a struggle. It's a struggle.
Exactly. I mean, like everyone says, you work because you get paid, That's the whole point, isn't it?
Even when you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, that's a bonus. That is a bonus. Absolutely. What's that saying? If you find something that you're really passionate about, you never work another day in your life.
Yeah, I think that's a load of nonsense.
You just haven't searched hard enough, Richard. No, you see, what you need is a place of enjoyment, not a place of employment.
No, working as a dive master was wonderfully enjoyable. The only problem is it's not like you could buy a house and retire on it. I certainly couldn't buy a Tesla with it.
Yes. Oh well, it's all good. I mean, poor old Alex is probably looking around the room. Alex has got the longest to have to work, so good luck with that. You won't be getting the age pension until you're about 75.
Who knows? Alex may have bought a ton of Tesla shares at 37.20.
Exactly. Or one of my kids bought $30 worth of some cryptocurrency, which is now apparently worth $2.5 grand.
Brilliant.
It was only $30, but I think one of his mates bought $200 worth, and it's worth whatever that multiple is, a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, my son has been buying a few dollars of cryptocurrency now and then, and he's bought $900 worth. And I spoke to him at the weekend. He goes, "Oh, it's only worth 6,000," and he's only been doing it for about 6 months.
There's a lot of expectation going on here.
Yes, of course. And this is only advice of a general nature and shouldn't be taken as personal financial advice.
And if you believe ARK Invest, you should buy a $70,000 Bitcoin now, because it'll go up to $550,000. And I'm going, yeah. I wanted to buy it when it was 5,000 and didn't.
No, what you wanted to do was buy it when 10,000 of them could get you a pizza.
Yeah, 19,000, wasn't it?
I thought it was 10, or maybe it was 19.
Whatever it is, it's some ridiculous amount.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 10,000 Bitcoins for a pizza in London, I think, wasn't it? Somewhere like that. Yeah. And now they're worth $50,000 each or so, or more.
And now I would have lost the hard drive, thrown it out in the bin with the hash key on it, and be trying to talk the local council into let me dig through as somebody is, because he's got $350 million worth of Bitcoins on his hard drive.
Yeah, and there's a guy that put his wallet in a secure enclave thing. It's a physical device. It's like a memory stick, really. But this was specifically intentionally done that it was absolutely secure. And you only have 3 guesses, and he's used 2 for the password, and the first 2 were incorrect. And if the third one is incorrect, this thing is specifically designed to kill the contents of the electronic contents inside. And it's a similar thing. It's worth dozens of millions of dollars. I'm not exactly whether it's 100 million or something. It's a substantial amount. Or maybe it's only 20 million, but it's millions.
Oh, only 20.
Yeah. And the problem is, people just presume, oh, well, there'll be a way of cracking into it, because there always is. But the point is, the company that he bought this thing from, they specifically made it so that you can't do that. It is secure. Think wisely before you put in the third choice, because
have to wait a few years for a quantum computer to come up to be able to work it out in a few seconds.
Yeah, well, and even then it probably can't, because there's no the data goes in, it matches it. If it's wrong, it's who knows. But I guess you could say, look, if I've got 20 million of Bitcoin in it, I'll offer you 5 on a success fee. But anyway, there you go. But yeah, cryptocurrencies, they're yeah, whatever. Don't buy them, as Pete would say. Well, no, whatever. But yeah, Kathy, they sold a 250,000 Tesla shares to buy. It was $COIN, Dollar Coin, which is a company. Oh, was that?
That was.
Is it Coinbase?
Coin, yeah, something like that.
Coinbase or something, I think. Yeah. But also, I think some of those companies do sell Tesla shares, not because they're necessarily pessimistic, but because they need to rebalance their portfolio. Because as Tesla keeps growing in value, they start being overexposed as a percentage of value. So they've got to sell down some to, buy something else. But, obviously.
It was Coinbase.
Coinbase, yeah. Yeah, and their thing is COIN, I guess. That's their ticker on the NASDAQ or whatever.
Yes.
But
they can sorry, they can probably rebuy some more, because looking at the Tesla shares on the open is sort of they're,
about 701 or something, wasn't it?
Oh, they're going down a little bit, are they? Oh, yes, I have 705.
705.
Whatever, it sort of goes around a bit. They're down nearly down 2%. Sorry, down nearly 2%.
Look at the earnings on Monday, isn't it?
Oh, yes, on the 26th.
26th.
Which for us will be Tuesday, the 27th at 5:30 a.m. is when their earnings call will come out.
I'll watch it on YouTube when I've woken up about 8 o'clock. Retirement's wonderful.
Come on, Nigel, you're supposed to wake up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, that's 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Well, that's right. It is in
somewhere.
The rest of us. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you're burning the midnight oil tonight, so yeah, you're doing well to stay up. As long as your slippers are keeping your tootsies warm, that's okay.
Yeah. I don't live by the maxim that 50 is the new 40 and so on, and 9 o'clock is the new midnight. I can stay up till at least 10 o'clock.
Well, then we have in the past. We've been up till 11-ish, or a bit past actually. Oh, dearie me, that's all good.
So what are we doing now? Just trying to stretch it out to 10 o'clock, or?
No. We can. No, if we run out of stuff to dribble, we can call it an early night. We're pretty flexible. Now, look, Elon doesn't mind if we're only 2.5 hours. Shout out to Elon and other more important viewers such as Damon. It's a good thing I bring up Damon, because with these the prescribed burning that we've had, the hue of the sun has been sort of like reddened a bit. So I'm not sure whether your car is watermelon red. Is it burnt orange? Maybe it's a bit more burnt orange with the red.
It's camouflaged. It's camouflaged in the orange glow of the sun. Yeah.
That's right. It's gone in. It looks like a white car. It probably is. But yeah, shout out to Damon for watching. Ashley, of course, and many, many others. Hosno Mubarak, thanks for your comments. Anyone that watches, please put in comments or questions. I try my best to answer them every now and then. But yeah, yes, we don't have to go like all-nighters. Although Richard and I did have a discussion a few weeks ago saying that we should do a 24-hour session. But to do something like that, we'd have to have a bit more content and a bit of a running sheet. Otherwise, it would be a little bit like telethon when they do 24 hours and all they do is getting, marginal people coming at, after the midnight shift.
And we'd all have to do our song and dance routines.
Yes, indeed.
Just as a quick question, is my video breaking up and freezing at times, or because it was? Unfortunately not. No, because last week it was a bit breaking up and freezing. And I did a Zoom meeting during the week for a YouTuber in Melbourne. When he published it, he goes, he's in WA, that's why it kept freezing. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
No, you're perfectly okay now. Yeah, the last couple of weeks, about the last 3 sessions, you were terrible. You were mostly still images. And some of them were quite humorous because you'd have your eyes closed or your mouth wide open or something. Yeah.
I don't know. I just did a speed test before now because I run everything through a VPN. And I've just done a speed test before I logged on, and it was 82 down and 30 up through the VPN. And I'm going, that shouldn't freeze, but.
Yes, no, that's fine. Perhaps there was some issue with the VPN. I doubt it would be NBN, for lack of a better term, whichever way your internet's going through, which is almost all NBN these days. But yeah, no, you're much better, Nigel.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the content is just as great as it always has been, but now it's in moving pictures, which is better.
And it's not black and white.
And it's not black and white. And I can still see where we are. We are.
Yeah.
There.
No, that's you, just in case you get lost. I'm here. You're there.
Oh dear. Excellent. Well, I reckon if we could afford to do an early night, unless we got something burning else to discuss, but I think not. I think it's sort of actually next week will be good.
Do an early night.
Yeah, cool. Next week will be good. We'll have the earnings call to look forward to. So hopefully there'll be some more news items with Cybertruck, Model Y in Germany, which will be great to hear about. And basically, especially in light of these million projected Model 3 and Y production this year, if those questions can get asked, that'll be great to know and very reassuring. So that'll be something to look forward to next week.
Have you actually looked at the questions that have been upvoted?
I did. I haven't looked at them myself. I did see Rob Maurer's Tesla Daily podcast or YouTube video, and that was quite interesting. You did see he unfortunately had a typo on his question. He typed as instead of has. But that question was good. I think that was regarding, actually, I can't remember what it was now.
No, I'm old and stupid and forgetful. So.
Yeah, it was still solar roof, because there's that. Unfortunately, Tesla aren't showering themselves with greatness. What they've basically done is most of the people that have ordered a solar roof in America have got signed contracts with Tesla with fixed pricing for their installation. And Tesla basically turned around and said, well, we're going to declare effectively force majeure. There was a clause that said if there are unknown conditions in your install, we reserve the right to increase the price. Well, Tesla's gone to basically all of the reservation holders or all of the order holders and said, your price is, I think one roof was going to cost an extra $50,000 US.
Yeah. And they're not supplying power walls unless you buy solar at the same time. So people that have already got solar, they won't sell them a power wall.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not worldwide, is it?
Well, it's in America. I don't know about here.
There's a great shortage of batteries. So I think they're literally saying, well, we're just not going to sell you a power wall unless it's with solar. But the big issue with the... Go, Richard.
No, I took that to be that you couldn't just have a power wall on your house for backup. It would have to be solar. But you're saying even if you've got solar, you can't get a power wall because it's not a combined sale.
Yeah, because of shortage. Yeah,
wow. Okay, I misunderstood that.
Because they got a shortage of supply. So what they're basically saying is, well, we only want to sell you a power wall if you're going to buy solar as well. But the big issue is the clause that they had in their contract was, the proper implication of the clause was, if your roof installation was much more complex than we thought, or then you told us, if we go to your site and we find that you've got this amazingly complex roof structure, then we'll have to up our price. But it seems what Tesla have done is across the board, they've just gone to all these people who got orders and said, well, we're not going to make as much money as we thought we were going to make, and we're going to declare this unknown condition on all of those contracts, which is decidedly unfair.
It's we're so out of order.
Several people are suing them now.
Yeah, and to be honest, good on them, because it's just not, it's not right. It's not good.
Tesla, Rob Maher said it all perfectly. It's like, it's not like it was suddenly a surprise that happened with any of these roofs. It was like Tesla were happy to sign the contract based on what they knew.
And what's the point of a fixed price contract if it's not if it's not abided to, you know? And Tesla could afford to lose a little bit of money to save some face, but unfortunately, it seems on the surface that they're prepared to openly be hostile to those customers and not do the right thing. So anyway, on that sort of bit of a negative note, but hey, Elon, if you're watching, you know, there's a great saying, it's never too late to do the right thing. So let's hope that Tesla comes to their senses. But yeah, Rob Maher did say that he didn't want to frame a question in that way. I think his question was more about what are the challenges in the solar roof, because I think Tesla was aiming at 1,000 installs a week, and I think his question was framed along the lines of what challenges are there in the solar roof program, and how can these be addressed, because he didn't want his question to appear to be too negative. But look, sometimes you've got to ask the hard questions and hope that Tesla gives the correct answers or appropriate answers. But anyway, so that's the shareholder thing next week, so we can look forward to that. I think we've also got in the next couple of days a new crewed mission to this ISS, flying on the Dragon capsule. So hopefully that'll go all well and on time.
Did you mention earlier that NASA had gone with Starship to take them to the moon?
Incredible.
Amazing. Yep. And like I said, it's the great thing is that whereas all the other companies had only effectively written proposals, you know, SpaceX had tangible demonstrations, albeit, you know, each one of those prototype Starships did blow up at some point.
I was going to say, yeah, they've got tangible pieces on the floor at Boca Chica.
Right. But, you know, like I said, you know, when you make omelets, you've got to break some eggs, and SpaceX aren't shy to break eggs all over the place. But good on them for doing it, you know. How's it go? You go fast, and, you know, you break things and move on quickly, you know, just learn from your lessons, and that's how you evolve a company. But on that note, I think we might evolve ourselves into Nine-Eye Land. For everyone watching, please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Patreon.
And Patreon. Please join us on Patreon. That's at tokwa.org.au/Patreon.
And I'm also going to start up Ko-fi and subscribe on YouTube and join.
Yes.
So we get more money. Yeah.
Exactly. So yes. So on that.
Sorry,
on that note, I just hit stop. No, it doesn't matter. On that note, have a wonderful week. Take care of yourself. Stay safe.
Bye, Peter's doggy.
And bye, Peter's dog.
Wave, but, you know.
And
yeah, I saw the wave.
Yeah, look after yourselves, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.
Okay.
Cheers.
See ya.